Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wow Wednesday. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, and it's a delight to be here with you this morning and bring you one of the extraordinary women in our community, Kathryn Yarborough, who is your vibrant speaker coach. So I'm feeling a desire to be extra vibrant today. So you inspire me already, Kathryn. And before I bring on Kathryn, let me share a couple of quick announcements in our community. So first of all, this Friday, April 29th, we're having a happiness hour. So we invite you to join us. Bring your favorite Friday evening beverage with you. We're going to have a wonderful time and remind you of those times when you would go to an event in person and you'd connect and you go, oh, hi, Kathryn, how are you? It's so good to see you, Aurelia. It's going to be a really fun evening of just connection with our community. And we're going to be doing some celebrations for the women in our community who have been referring so many extraordinary additional women to us. So you can get the information about that at womensprosperitynetwork.com. Just go to the events calendar. And then the other thing I want to announce is I would like for all of you, if you have an Alexa in your house, I want you to say, Alexa, play music by Nancy Matthews. We'll see what comes up. My Alexa's in the other room. Otherwise, she would have started. So give it a go. I think you're going to actually, I know you're going to love what you hear. So do it. Alexa, play music by Nancy Matthews, and we'll see what comes up. I know you'll enjoy it. The song that you'll hear is called Everyone's the One, and Kathryn Yarborough certainly is the one. She is here with us today to teach us and show us how we can attract clients with a presentation that your ideal clients will love. So buckle in, get a pen and paper. This is going to be a really, really powerful class for you today. Before we kick in, let me share a little bit about Kathryn and her background. So as a vibrant speaker coach and manifesting clients mentor for women entrepreneurs, Kathryn teaches her clients how to be engaging, expressive, and impactful speakers who attract clients. She's the founder of the Manifesting Clients Academy. She is an inspirational speaker and a best-selling author. We've got some free gifts for you, ways you can continue to work with her. And welcome, my friend Kathryn.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I'm loving your vibrancy today. It's even more than it usually is. How could that be?
Yeah, I'm here with you. Of course, I'm going to bring it on. And you know what? Let's kick off, because it's not always easy to bring that, especially if you're not feeling that good, or maybe you're wondering, am I good enough? And all of that stuff can come into play. So how did you get on this path of knowing this vibrant piece was something you wanted to deliver to women entrepreneurs?
Okay. Well, what's been happening for me over the last few years, and especially with COVID, and we've been on Zoom, looking at people's faces and shoulders sometimes, and I have felt like, why aren't they more expressive? What's going on? And I know that in the past, when I've been in live events more, we used to do live events every so often, there would be a speaker and I'd be like, how did that person get on the big stage? They're not very expressive. What is going on? And so when I was actually in a Toastmasters meeting, and one of my colleagues spoke about something that's called micro movements. Let me explain the way I'm understanding that concept right now. Micro movements, and there's micro movements and micro expressions. And what he said, so micro expressions are the little tiny things that we do with our faces.
If I could raise one eyebrow, but I can't.
but it's less than that. It's like a little clenched fist, and they go really quickly. And they're little tiny things. So they're actually your neurons fire in response to something that touches you emotionally in some way or another. So you have these little micro movements that want to happen, but we hold them back because of our conditioning. We don't want to express that anger. We don't want to express our enthusiasm, because if you were in my family, you got shushed for being too loud, too vibrant, too expressive, and or whatever it was that happened in your family. Most of us got conditioned in some way to hold back on something. So when my colleague spoke about micro movements, and he was speaking about new speakers and why they don't use gestures or be more expressive, and he was saying, well, they're too nervous to sense those urges to speak, or the urges to express. And I thought afterwards, and I was thinking about all of these people I've been seeing on Zoom in these Zoom meetings, and their faces stay like this. They don't move. Their faces don't change. They don't move in the screen. They don't use gestures. And a lot of times for speakers, I've been on summits, Nancy, where the people are reading what they're saying and their voice doesn't hardly change. And if it does change, it just changes a little bit. And that just hurts my heart to see that, because I know that we don't mean to do that. We don't mean to be not expressive, not our vibrant self, but we got conditioned, like I was shushed.
Right. And then we also worry, what will people think? Is, am I going to be too much? Or you're so concerned about delivering the content that you don't drop into the emotion behind why you're sharing the content, right?
Exactly. So what happened for me after this friend said that, I thought, oh my goodness, I know that even experienced speakers, it's not just beginning speakers, but experienced speakers aren't being the fullest expression because something happened where they were conditioned and there was some sort of body-mind split that happened. So maybe they're so worried about the content, maybe they're concerned, but often it's a habit that got developed years ago, and that's what hurts my heart. I want all of us to step into being the fullest expression of ourselves, because when we do that, our unique vibration emanates without any constraint. And your people, and I'm speaking for you, Nancy, and everybody who's listening to this, your people will feel you. You know how the kids say, do you feel me?
Wow. That is so good. So ramping up your own vibrancy, your own vibration allows you to connect with your people, not all the people, right? That's why we've got to tap into that uniqueness. Oh, so good. So good. Thank you for bringing this to the forefront and choosing to focus your skills and gifts and vibrancy on helping us all to do that, because the key in this is that you'll attract your ideal clients, which helps get rid of worrying about competition, fear of not being good enough, all that worry and doubt. Like, this is the path to get your ideal clients. Again, not everybody's. So good. So good. All right. So we've got some good takeaways for you today. So you want to share with us 5 steps to attract ideal clients with speakings.
Absolutely. So let me name those 5 steps. And then, first of all, I just want to say, I've been seeing a lot of comments in the chat. A lot of love I'm getting. Thank you, my friends. I want to let you know, I see it. Okay. All right. So let me name these 5 steps, and then we can dive deep into any of them that you want us to. Okay. So the first one is to awaken your authentic vibration, which we've already spoken to. And I, as a former dance movement therapist and integrative breath worker, have a really powerful way of doing that to support you in getting present in your body, and then letting your words come from your core. And it's a powerful transformational process that is not just life-changing for your speaking, but for your life. So awaken your authentic vibrancy. The second step is to craft a presentation that your ideal clients will love, which means you've got to have content that they're interested in and be authentically vibrant. A third is to name your presentation so that it actually calls to your ideal clients. Please use plain language that your ideal clients will understand and go, oh, I want some of that. I'm interested in that. And the fourth is to identify a right next step that your ideal clients will want to know about. And can I mention at this point, well, I've got a workshop I'll tell you all about later, but can I mention at this point my Authentically Vibrant assessment? Because this is a next step that anybody here can take, and it's free. And should I put the information in the chat, or people can find the link somewhere?
How about you won't keep on rolling and I got you covered?
Oh, you're a sweetheart. I love it when people got me covered. I don't have to worry about it. So my friend, I created this assessment so you can check to see how authentically vibrant you are. And you just have to look at a recording of yourself for 2 minutes, and you can use this really cool handy dandy
Look at that
picture. Yeah. And check off when you're doing movements or speaking in ways that are congruent. And then when you do anything that's not congruent, then I have you add it all up. And then there's a few other questions, and you come out with a score from 0 to 100. And you just watch 2 minutes, as I said, but you might need to watch it a few times to get all the check marks in there. Anyhow, what I love about this assessment is that I think it's actually pretty accurate. I have tested it on regular people, and I've tested it on famous people. I don't think I've done you, Nancy, but I did Trish. Mm-hmm. And people who are good speakers, really good speakers, like Brene Brown, she got in the 90s. I think Trish got in the 90s or close to it.
She did, yeah.
Yeah. And then most people are in the average 40 to 60. So if you do this and you're 40 to 60, do not feel bad. That's just what most people are. And then there are some people who are less because there's more of a split. They're not accessing more of the vibrant. So anyway, it's a really cool tool just to see how you're doing. And so that's my free next step. So how do we craft and identify a good next step for the audience that we're with in that moment? And the fifth thing in terms of attracting clients with speaking is to find or create places where your ideal clients will be and can hear your message.
So good. So good. There's so much golden nuggets and wisdom here for you. So I know you're probably going to go back and listen to this again because she's got those 5 steps. And do me a favor, real quick, recap the 5 for me.
Okay. Step number 1, awaken your authentic vibrancy or vibration. Beautiful. And you may need some help with that. Just want to say. And step number 2, craft a presentation that your ideal clients will love. You also may need help with that. I mean, I just want to say this. I was thinking about this, Nancy. I think most people think that they should be able to be speakers just as easy as it is to eat food. It's like we think this should be natural. Well,
also think about even eating food. Sometimes we need help knowing which food to eat. Right? I've been speaking professionally for 20 years or 18 years, something like that. I still attend trainings and build my skill in this area. Even though I'm good at it so far, I'm always improving and honing and getting better. And in fact, wasn't it at a speaker training we hosted that you and I first met?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was the beginning of my saying yes to becoming a speaker. Prior to that, I kept having this vision pop into my head of me being on big stages, and I kept saying, no, I'm not that good. I don't know how to do that. Why are you telling me to do that? And I pushed away. And finally I said yes. And I saw y'all's training for the business of speaking. And I've been a WPN fan ever since, a fan of Nancy and Trish. Yes, yes, yes. If you're here, say yes, yes, yes. If you too are a fan. Yeah. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's what we're here to do. And then now look what happens. So you had this little tap, as I would call it. Sometimes it's a brick in the head, this little tap. And that's part of your giftedness, where you're now combining the dance movement there. Like all of the things you've done in your past perfectly placed you to be of service for us all to step into that, vibrant speaker. And this will work, I would suspect, whether you're speaking on stages or just talking with people one-on-one. Like that's what we want. We want to feel a connection to people. And that comes through finding that your authentic vibration. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So you asked me to recap. I think I got to two. Awaken your authentic vibration, craft a presentation your ideal clients will love. The third one is name your presentation. So the words that you name it call to your ideal clients. The fourth is to develop that art of identifying the right next step. So people actually take a next step because you got to move them into your business. And the fifth is to find or create places where your ideal clients will tune in and listen. So just a little thing, y'all, if you do not have your own Facebook group and it calls to you at all to create one, because then you will have a built-in audience. And if you do it right, your ideal clients will be in your Facebook group and you can do Facebook Lives and they will likely want to show up or watch the replays. So easy place to practice, easy to do.
Yeah, love it. Let's talk a little bit about, and I'm wondering if you might give us some clues in how do we awaken our authentic vibration. I know you've got a whole process that you teach around this. Is there some little, tidbit or tip you can give us today to start on that path?
Okay, so thank you. I wasn't prepared for this question, but it's a really good question. And so I'm thinking. That's why I'm looking up. So when we look up one way or the other, we're usually thinking. So I'm thinking, where?
I do.
Yeah.
I go to the right.
Yeah. Where is that information? It's interesting because I was looking in the center, so maybe it's coming from both sides of my brain today. And anyhow, I am going to say to breathe. Actually, two things. I'm going to say breathe and get present. Well, three things. Get present in your body and start moving your body. So I have, since I started my new program, which is called Speak with Your Body program, and I launched it in December and got my first person to sign up. It was like, okay, somebody said yes, yay. And then in January, I started telling more people about it. And it's like, oh, more people are saying yes. Oh my goodness, yay, I'm actually getting paid for this thing. Awesome. And what I've noticed is that the people who are more present in their body, more physically active, actually are able to access this easier. And the people who are doing more spiritual practice as well, they're able to access it easier. So do your breath work, do your meditation, get present in your body, walk regularly, get physical so that you can do this. I mean, if you've got physical limitations, that doesn't mean you can't, because I'm sitting in a chair right now and you could be in a wheelchair and do this. You can, no matter what your conditions are, you can share your vibrancy. And the more present we are, the more we're breathing, the easier it is.
You know what it reminds me of as you're describing this way to begin accessing it, and it reminds me of the chi energy, the life force that actually runs through us. So going back to what you shared in the beginning, how we've been conditioned to tamp it down, that life force. Oh, don't boast, don't be too big, you're too big for your britches, like all that messaging, like those were some of mine. That's where that came from. Pulled it out of the recesses. And tapping into your life force, and everyone's life force is unique. And that's what we're talking about here, is tapping into your life force so you can connect with people who are waiting. And really get this, everyone, waiting for you to show up so that they can say, she, he, they are the one who I know can give me more of what I want. So tap into that life force, that energy. And that's what Kathryn shows you how to do in presentations in your life, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. One of my clients, I'm going to call her Jay, because I haven't asked for permission. Jay, when we started working together, she was having a family conflict where her parents were pulling on her to do something, and she was just feeling blah about it. And so through the process that we do in the Speak with Your Body program, she got clearer inside of herself of what her truth is. And that's what happens when we tune into our life force, when we get centered in our bodies and feel our uniqueness, our sense of ourself inside of ourselves, we can then get clear of what it is. I get clear of what's true for me, and I can speak it because I'm okay with the other person having whatever experience they have. It's so anyway, she made this transformation, and she said no to something her parents were asking her to do, and she felt clear and good about it. It's powerful, way beyond speaking, though.
Yeah, it's all areas of your life. And what you triggered right now for me is that when we can get into our body, right? And it lets us get out of our head. Like if I'm only in my head thinking about, I don't know if I should do this, this is the right thing. Like if I'm all up in my head, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. It feels confused. So think about this. If you're getting ready to deliver a presentation and that's what's going on, how powerful are you going to be? You're not bringing your energy. You're actually dissipating it. So by getting grounded in your body, it allows you to align the body and mind. So that's a lot of what you bring to people, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The other piece that you said you would share a little bit with us today is the elements of crafting a presentation your ideal clients will love. Do you have some tips on that for us?
I do. And we've spoken a lot about the one that I think is so key, which is your being your authentically vibrant self. When you're speaking and you're being that, as I said, as Nancy said, then your ideal clients vibrate with you. The second thing that I want to remind all of us to do is to use stories. And we all know it when I'm just going to say, everybody's listening. I know you know this, Nancy. When we witness a presenter using stories, we get pulled in.
Oh, yeah.
A story has some sort of drama, usually. They're often something challenging happened. I just used a little story about my client, Jay, about she was feeling conflicted with her family. And how many people can relate to that? Your family's pulling on you, asking you to do something, but you feel just a little story like that. And especially if you've got a little bit longer one that rolls through everything. And I love what I learned, Nancy, from you and Trish. A story for every point, a point for every story. I teach it, I preach it, I do my best to practice it.
And let me say, giving credit where credit is due, I got that from Les Brown.
Thank you, Les.
Knows how to tell a story, that's for sure. And the other great storyteller, there are so many. John Maxwell, leadership coach. He's written, speaker. He's amazing. During his presentations, I've actually sat and timed it, and he tells a story every 5 to 7 minutes in all of his presentations. So. Yes. If we go back to, again, it's about connecting with your audience, and the storytelling goes all the way back to folklore, how our history was passed down through stories in families, in relationships. And if you want to really connect with your ideal clients, they have to see themselves in your story. and the stories that you share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yes. So, okay. So I want to say, can I say more here?
and I have a question that I will remember.
Okay. So also when you're crafting your presentation, we need to have content that our ideal clients will love. So usually something that has to do with solving a problem that they have or achieving a goal. But the golden nugget here that I have learned over the years that I want to share with you over the years, I sound so experienced here. But anyhow, I actually have been speaking longer than when I first did your workshop. I did start speaking back in like 2004 or 5 something. But anyhow, it was just a few years ago where I committed. Is to have one message, one main point, and I will preach this until I learn otherwise. But whether it's a 3-day conference or a 3-hour workshop or a 3-minute introductory type thing, if you get clear inside of yourself of your one thing that you want your people to walk away from, that experience, knowing and really getting, you can craft a dynamic 3-minute, 3-hour, 3-day, whatever it is, and it will land because everything fits with it. So that's the golden thing. I really hope that makes sense.
It makes total sense, and it's also a big challenge for people, especially as we move on in years and have all this experience and all these skill sets. What I find is people want to say, well, I can teach this, and it's too much. So here's a question: how does a person hone in on the one hint message?
You're too cute.
What happened? My computer just went. Are you there?
I am
Hello?
here.
Something just went really. I have no idea what's going on with my computer.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can see nothing. So
you're back. You were frozen.
Keep talking, Kathryn, while I figure out how I'm going to fix this.
Okay, we can see you, Nancy, and we can hear you, just so that you know. So you can breathe, and I'll keep talking. So you were saying something about I completely forgot what you were talking about.
Talking about honing in on the one message.
Okay, so how do we do that? And it is really challenging. I'm also a person who has a lot to say and lots of different things to talk about. So that's interesting. Zoom kicked Manuela off right before you got your glitch. So maybe something weird's going on, but we can still see you and we can hear you.
I'm trying to get in on my iPad too. So, because I want to manage everybody in the chat. So,
okay. All right. So I'll keep on going here. So my friends, when you're doing something, prepare. And what I like to do is I brainstorm and I'll write down, let's say for my upcoming workshop that I haven't even mentioned yet, which we'll talk about, I'm sure at some point soon. It's called Speak to Attract Clients. It's happening next Friday on the 6th of May. And so when I am preparing something like that, it's a 3-hour event. I sit down and I brainstorm. What do I want people to get? What can we do? What are different possibilities of things that I can speak to, exercises that folks can get? And so for me, that's part of my process. And then I can step back and go, okay, what's the one thing that I want people to leave that event having known or experienced or gotten? So I need to do that whole brain dump. Once I've done the brain dump, then tuned into, okay, I can feel those people. What do I want them to get? Then I can go back to my content and put my content together so that it works to get that message out.
All right, keep going because I'm not there yet, if you don't mind, but I am going to get back on somehow, some way.
That's okay. So I
apologize, everyone.
So Nancy, would this be a good time for me to mention the information about my workshop?
Yes, do that now. That is absolutely perfect.
Great. And I'm sure you'll have some questions for me about it, maybe, because you're brilliant at supporting all of us and getting the message out about our work.
As soon as I can get back on, this is really odd. Both of my computer screens are blacked out. I can hear you, but I see nothing. So
Okay.
it's really, really odd.
Okay. All right. So, my friends, I've got this workshop called Speak to Attract Clients. Here's the thing, we just vibrated so wildly that it did something to Nancy's computer. How cool is that? So, anyhow, Speak to Attract Clients. You can go to my website. I'm sure we'll get the link to you. It's on the original page. But anyway, my website is manifestingclientsacademy.com. And then it's under events and services, but you could also do / speak to attract clients. So in this workshop on May 6th, you're going to get to go through the 5 steps that I've already talked about in a deeper way. You're going to get to experience what I call mindful movement, which is one of the first things that I do with my clients. So you can see if it actually works for you in any way, if you feel more present in your body. So in the Speak to Attract Clients workshop, we will dive deeper with awakening your authentic vibration, crafting a presentation your ideal clients will love, naming your presentation, identifying a next step for your ideal clients, and then finding or creating places. So Anna's asking, it's manifestingclientsacademy.com, manifestingclientsacademy.com. And then / speak to attract clients, or right on the homepage, you'll see under events and services. And folks, it's only $47 for a 3-hour workshop. So I can promise you that you'll enjoy yourself. Probably, well, I can't, I don't have control over how you feel.
Listen, hanging out with you in this short time period has brought so much fun. And I know they'll enjoy themselves.
There you go. Thank you, Anna, for sharing the link. Thank you, Rita, for sharing my webpage. Yeah. Okay. And Nancy, how's it going over in your world?
I'm still working at it. I see nothing. I know y'all hear me and see me, and that's fantastic, but I can't manage the dashboard to open people up and bring them on like I would love to do. So let's do this today. Kathryn, you can see the chat, right?
I should be able. Yes, I've been seeing everybody's chat.
Beautiful. And actually, you probably have permission to unmute people. So put your question for Kathryn in the chat. And I am almost there in making this magic happen. So if you have a question for Kathryn, please put it in the chat.
I do not have permission to unmute people.
Okay. I'm almost there.
Okay. Yeah. So go ahead. If you have a question, I should be able to read it, and I'll read it out loud. So yeah, so folks, anything that we've talked about, I welcome your questions. Okay. Mary Jane wrote, I popped into Kathryn's show. I have a show called Speak Up Entrepreneurs that's on Wednesdays in my Vibrant Entrepreneurs Facebook group. And Mary Jane said she had a cancellation unbeknownst to me, and today was showtime. Always be ready. So good tip. Exactly. Always be ready. Say yes. Show up. Peg wrote, great info, Kathryn. I have known you for a long time from when you lived in Maryland. Yes, yes, yes. So I know that we've known each other. Great. I appreciate the comments. Can you repeat the steps you said in the beginning? For sure. Absolutely. So let's see. I'm going to say the steps, and then if you've got a question, ask about each of the steps. So the first one is to awaken your authentic vibration. This is your essence. This is who you truly are. And when you get present in your body and you integrate your body, your heart, and your mind, your vibration can come through. When you awaken your authentic vibration, then that natural vibrancy that you experienced as a child can come through. So if you look at a bunch of children, they're not sitting on Zoom calls like this, right? They're expressing themselves. So we want to reclaim that. All right. So Michelle has asked, if I sign up for your class, will it be recorded? I'm already in an intensive. Michelle, unfortunately, because it's so interactive, I am not recording this, but I will be doing it again in June. I want to say Saturday, June 18th. It's Saturday right around that time. So if you signed up for my freebie, my Authentically Vibrant speaker assessment, you'll get on my e-list. And if you didn't do that, go to my homepage and there's a way to opt into my e-list and I will send you information. Oh, we see Nancy twice. How fun is this?
So let me fix this. So just give me one moment. I'm gonna reclaim.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
You got it. Wi-Fi.
Okay. Yes, thank you. I'm recapping the steps for Ivy. Thank you so much. So the second step is to craft a presentation your ideal clients will love, which means having the content and that one point, and then using stories for every point, a point for every story. And the third step is to name your presentation so that it calls to your ideal clients. And the fourth step is to develop the art of identifying the right next step your ideal clients will take. And the fifth is to find or create places to speak. Okay, so Rita wrote a testimonial for my program. Shall I read it while you're getting back in here?
I don't know why I'm still here twice. Oh my gosh, everyone, I'm so sorry.
Well, I appreciate how you've got 3 different devices and you're trying so hard. So I'll read Rita's while you're figuring this out, and then you can jump in and take over and be in charge as beautifully as you normally do. Okay, so Rita wrote, she's doing my Speak With Your Body program. So thank you, Rita. I knew that I wanted anything that Kathryn was offering. I was eager to learn expressive speech so that I could bring more value to my people. I quickly discovered that I had a lot of work to do connecting with my authentically vibrant self. There's a lot to do. I don't mean you, but for most of us, Kathryn is so great at encouraging me while instructing me to accept the guidance that I want and need from her. Thank you so much. Look at all this great stuff. Nothing wrong with Sue Nancy's, that's for sure, from Peg.
Peg Duchesne, you can go ahead and share.
Great. So like I said, I've known Kathryn since we both lived in Maryland. I'm still here. She's in the warm weather, but we've been connected for a long, long time. And she always brings vibrancy wherever she goes. I'm so glad you're part of Momentum. When I get in a breakout room with you, you pour into us and give us such great feedback. And I know your workshop is going to be phenomenal. So I'm excited to see lots of positivity around your what you're offering us today. So yay.
Thank you, Peg. And even in your sharing, your authentic vibrancy came through even more than normal. So I love that just because we're talking about it, it wakes up people to be more vibrant, like you said, Nancy, earlier in the beginning. I love it.
Right. Well, I love what you said about come with a childlike enthusiasm, because definitely if you do that, we will be so much better. So now we're just down to one Nancy Matthews. Darn it.
Well, but you're not hearing the echo of me, so I think
right. And thank you for getting things working, Nancy. You're such a tech geek, and I'm so happy you're part of our team and heading our team and giving us all that. So thanks, Kathryn.
Thanks, Peg.
Thank you, Peg. And so how fortunate am I that today's guest could just roll with it and pick it up while I needed to do something to get us happening again. And if you would like to share, go ahead and hit *6 on your phone or raise your hand if you're on the computer. We would love to hear from you. So I've given permission to just about everybody who's here. You can hit *6 if you're on your phone. Rita Thomas, do you want to share something?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. So I love working with Kathryn. she's just the perfect mix of, come on, let's get this done. And you're doing great. Everything's going to be fine. Because I'm a pretty open, what am I trying to say? Extrovert. And all of a sudden when she said, okay, we're going to do this, and I just clammed up, and I was surprised myself, but she just said, oh, no problem. We're going to work with that. And we discovered some, like she said, with her other clients, some family things that were going on that just were making me really into my own feelings. And we worked through it. And now I'm doing the expressive, all kinds of expressive, fun things in our sessions. And it's helping me I can see myself on the big stage doing the motions and making the connection with my audience. And that energy that she mentioned, it is all over the place in a good way.
Yes, yes.
So good. So good. Thank you for that. And I can see it. Like, you've always been expressive in my observation and experience of you. And I've noticed recently you've brought even more to the forefront. So kudos to you.
Yes, you're speaking to Rita, right?
Yeah, Rita.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And Kathryn, if you have the link handy, why don't you go ahead and drop the link for your workshop in the chat again?
Nancy, do you want to start the recording again?
I have no idea.
Okay, so this just means I get to get back on Wednesday sooner rather than later. We'll talk about something else. Yeah. We got lots to talk about.
I don't know. I'm operating from my iPad. My computer just decided it was done working. So that's going to be my day. Oh, goodness gracious. So the link is in the chat. Join Kathryn. It will be fun. She knows how to roll with it, and she'll teach you how to do the same. Let's get real. So much. And, let's talk about that for a minute, because it's really key. Had something like this happen to me, 10, 15 years ago, I'd have been sweating and in a panic, and, I don't feel too great about it. And you got to just roll with it. What are you going to do when a blunder happens? And they will.
That's the truth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So learning the skills you teach about aligning body and mind will give you the strength to still access that. The life force is still there. We need to know how to access it, both in times of high anxiety, to quote Mel Brooks. I don't know if you remember that movie, as well as when you're nervous and when you're happy, when you're excited, or when stuff happens.
Right. And it's interesting because as a speaker, things can happen at any point in any way.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a real room, with real people, then some horrible noise can come blaring in. And if you're on Zoom, the technology can go whatever, or you can have some weird person comes into the room. And if the videos are on and there's weird things going on. So being able to flow with that, I think that it's really important to acknowledge it. You acknowledged it, you took care of it, you said what you were doing, you let us know, which is so important. And I think that happens through experience and
practice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Let's go ahead. And if you have a question or a comment, we'd love to hear from you. If you're on your phone, you just need to hit *6. If you're on your computer, you would raise your hand. So please go ahead, unmute yourself, and let's take some questions or comments. I believe we've got Laura Barker in the house. Hello, lovely.
Good morning, everyone. First, can I just say how much I love this community? And, Kathryn, I'm up this morning so that I would not miss this, because I'm so excited to get involved with you. And I may not be bringing my most vibrant self this morning. I think probably a lot of you know I have not been well, but I am home now and recovering. So, and really just being able to participate as a listener and an observer is such a wonderful distraction and always a learning experience. And I'm going to be on Kathryn's Wednesday show coming up, and I cannot wait to get her feedback on how I can be more vibrant, authentic, and entertaining, hopefully. I love the way you move, Kathryn, your 5 tips, and I will be there on the 6th. I cannot wait. Thank you.
Yay! I'm looking to pull up my link for my Speak Up Entrepreneurs show because a few people have spoken about it, and anybody here can be a guest. So is that okay if I share that too here?
Yeah, for sure. That would be
Sure.
great. That would be great. And then I'll make sure that I also share it inside of the Facebook group, which I don't know if we're still broadcasting on Facebook. I suspect not.
Yes, we are. We're live on Facebook still.
I don't know how all this is at.
I mean, who knows why that stayed and the recording went off. But anyhow, folks, for Speak Up Entrepreneurs that a couple people have spoken about, I do it on Wednesdays, 5 to 5:30 Eastern time. So later today in my Vibrant Entrepreneurs Facebook group. And I have up to 3 guests who get to speak for 3 minutes about their business, anything that you want to say. And I will give you up to 3 minutes of feedback about how you did. And most of that is going to be all the good things you did. And then I'll have 1 or 2 suggestions. And I, like you were, for those of you who came here a little late, when Nancy was starting this, she was just like bubbly and all before the tech stuff happened. And she was like loving it because she was recognizing how since 2009, she's been doing this show. And now she really, today it seemed like you woke up to the reality that you love doing this show.
I do.
Because you get a lot of, you get to be you and all these people come and hang out with you. And I've discovered, I've only started doing it since March, the beginning of March. I love doing Speak Up Entrepreneurs, that Facebook Live show. And so join me, sign up for a spot if you want to. There's lots of spots in May. And be sure to show up because showing up is like 75% of attracting clients. 25% is all the other stuff that we talk about. But if you don't show up, you're never going to get clients.
Ain't that the truth? I love it. I love it. So good. Olivia Jones, I see that you've got your hand raised. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Yes, I just wanted to share that I have experience Speak Up Entrepreneurs with Kathryn, and it was definitely very helpful. It's always good to, sharpen your skills and keep speaking and keep going. And it's great when you can come in the community such as this one. Iron sharpens iron, as you continue to hone in those skills and get around other ladies and other people who are improving their skills. It helps you, and it does give you that opportunity to attract that ideal client. The saying, those who show up, go up. So just keep showing
I like
up
that.
and keep sharpening your skills and keep being around those folks who have that like mindset. And, the manifestation is inevitable. What we ardently desire, sincerely, enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. So
that was awesome. Thank you, Olivia.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you for that beautiful declaration for all of us. I love it. Thank you so much. Let's see. Anna Brooks, I think you might have had your hand up. Did you have something you wanted to ask or share?
Actually, I just stepped out for a moment. I came back and it said to unmute myself. And I was like, oh my God, I missed something.
We had you available if you wanted to ask a question or share something about today's presentation.
Well, I'm excited. I always love to hear great speakers, but learning the process is challenging sometimes. And one thing I've noticed about Kathryn is that she's always on. Always on. That vibration and the vibrancy is always there. So I'd like to steal a little bit of that.
Yeah, she's going to teach you how. So two things. So thank you, Anna. Didn't mean to take you off guard. Two things. Number one, make sure you go ahead and do the assessment. And we've placed the link in the chat and in the comments on Facebook. And then also join for this workshop on May the 6th. It's $47. And how long is the workshop?
It's 3 hours.
Wow, you're going to really dive deep. Are you going to share more about that activity you shared on awakening your authentic vibrancy? Is that part of what we get to do on that day?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm really excited because we're going to do what I call mindful movement, and you're going to get to experience what it's like to be present in your body. And I may have you speak while you're moving, which is a weird thing that my new clients, when I get them to do this, what happens is, I'll just describe this a little bit. I invite people to close their eyes and move different parts of their body in whatever way that their body wants to move. And then practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of noticing your experience without judgment. So noticing the sensations, images, thoughts, and feelings. And what happens when we do that practice is we integrate body, mind, and emotions. We get present in our bodies. So you'll get to experience that. Then I don't know that I'll do the second piece, which is asking you to speak while you're moving your body in that way. But when you're really present in your body and I ask you a question, invite you to speak, and you let your body speak, and I'll talk about this for sure and explain why this works. But what happens is that your truth comes forth. Your core speaks through you. When you let that happen, that's when you are breaking free from all that conditioning and your truth comes out. And we have so much stuff. It can take a bit to get to that place and to feel comfortable. The first 3 sessions, usually in my Speak with Your Body program, people are like, am I doing it right? I feel weird. This is strange. And it is strange. And it is strange because in order to break free from 30, 40, 50, 60 years of communication habits, we got to do some weird stuff. So anyway, we will dive into that in the workshop.
So good. And think about this, to spend 3 hours with Kathryn for just $47. If all that does is have you more innately connect with your authentic, vibrant being, which allows you to connect with just one person, like imagine just one person in business, one new client in your family. Like it's so valuable. And I want to thank you for putting it together because we need this big time in our world. So good.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm excited and delighted to be able to share the bridging of my worlds from dance movement therapy, breath work, speaking, manifesting clients, and putting it all together in this way that works.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So Kathryn, thank you for being with us today and being such a master at taking the reins when I don't know what happened here. So make sure you do sign up for both the assessment that she has as well as the class on May the 6th. And I'll make sure that I get that link out to everyone so that you can tap into your authentic, vibrant being so that you can serve your clients, the ones that you're meant to be serving. So thank you for joining us, Kathryn, and taking care of me today and all our community.
My pleasure.
So good. All right, everyone. And thank you for joining us for Wow Wednesday, for hanging in there, for sending me text to let me know what was going on. Thank you for having my back as well. We'll be back next week with another Wow Wednesday that will be seamless, as this was seamless, open and close, whatever. It's all good. I love you all. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Have a beautiful day, everyone.